MakingStarWars.net.
Hey everybody, I'm Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.net, and this is Rob. He's been put into TV land. He is on the set of Married with Children on Fox.
My Force Ghost form's on strike.
Yeah,
I now have to be human for.
I mean, well, the reason that we're doing it is because Rob is here to announce to all the Reylos that Kylo Ren, Ben Solo, is coming back in his own feature film. Is that true, Rob? That's what you said, Rob. Right? You promised the Reylos. That's what's happening, correct?
All I know, I promised Rylos, which was from the last Starfighter, Glory to Rylos.
Right? Well, I understand what you're saying.
Victory or death. Victory or death. Victory.
Right.
Yeah, so Rylos. That's
Kylo Riley. Got it. So
also, I just want to say, the reality is the Force Ghost effect is we can't afford it anymore since I started fronting Bespin's Patreon scam.
Yeah, yeah, it's a pyramid scheme. The pyramid scheme ever. I got a Patreon. You guys could be channel members on this channel if you want to be. That helps. Like you could be like Dell and Jedi Mike. Thank you guys for being channel members and all that kind of jazz. I do appreciate the support, especially when we go into the weird times of the Star Wars, stuff, when there's not like exciting, fascinating news every day, and
it's gonna be that way for a bit, really, right? We don't really know when Ahsoka's coming out.
No, it'll be out. I think it will be out in August for sure. I think it will, but have they given us a release date? No, they haven't. Today,
Vampire Magazine.
They
believe that.
Well, no, actually. I am of two minds on it. Number one is it says that at least about 3 weeks ago, probably at least, they definitely intended to have it out, and this is when they began that ramp up. So I don't think that has changed. I doubt that's changed, but is it possible that Empire could have been on the path to put this out, and then they canceled the date, and then they're just like, what are we gonna do? Oh yeah, that happens all the time. I mean, I've been playing as Spider-Gwen in since like 2 or 3 battle passes ago because that movie got pushed back, and then it was just already in the battle pass, and there was like nothing that they could do about it. So it definitely happens, It's happened before, in other ways, but yeah. So here's the I'll put up the first Ahsoka cover right now so you guys could see it. And I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not over the moon about it. In fact, I barely even remembered it until Rob said that, because the other cover just doesn't read to me. It looks fucking terrible. Usually I like the covers, but you can see what is kind of cool about it is you can see that Ahsoka is on that, those pillars that we saw, remember, like back in the from the set in El Segundo, the pictures that we put up of the giant foot and all that. Like you can see that she's like on that location. Yeah. And then you can kind of see the background there, the blue skies and all that. But yeah. So it says
it's a cool cover, though. I mean, I'm not a fan of all the text, but it's the world we live in.
Yeah, it's a little busy, I think, but yeah, it's good. I mean, sabers up. The iconic warrior finally takes center stage. Rosario Dawson and her rebel crew reveal how they're transforming the galaxy. So that really didn't say anything. Blue Beetle, Black Mirror, Gal Gadot. Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, bro. That's coming out.
Gal
Gadot. And then this is the other cover, which I'm like, what the fuck am I even looking at?
I get the idea that it's maybe Thrawn's ears, but it really does look like a Tim Burton invention. Like it looks like those sculptures that the mom does in Beetlejuice that come to life.
Mm-hmm.
Like it looks like that. Yeah.
It looks like Lama Su, the Kaminoan, banged it out with Ahsoka Tano, and this is their weird baby. And it also reminds me of Jambi from Pee-wee's Playhouse, with just a head floating in a black box.
Right.
Kind
of a Jambi look. This is one of those things I constantly talk about, where sometimes an art director sets you up for failure.
Mm-hmm.
They'll hand you some reference, like this came from a Pinterest something. It came from some reference, you know. And they're like, we're gonna do something like this, and someone was forced to do that with Star Wars stuff, you know.
Right.
And that's what came out of it. And then the
Right.
people at Empire, oh, we like it because it's cool and it's gonna go directly to our subscribers, so they get when the subscribers just want the other cover without all the fucking text.
Mhm.
Is really what they want, you know. So
Yeah.
like
It,
this is
it looks like the Grand Inquisitor more almost to me in a weird way too. Like it has those vibes more than like I said, just as much as I look at this, I just don't see Thrawn in this at all. And
I
then
see the ears.
yeah.
But the head, this is weird. It also reminds me, have you ever seen the concept art for Brainiac from Tim Burton's Superman Lives project? Looks like this.
Reminds me of that fucker on Harry Potter that has like the head on the back of his head when like Voldemort's head forms out the back or something. It's like, what is this? So,
or Death Becomes Her when her head was on backwards.
Yeah, it turns around. Man, yeah, that was a pretty good effect at the time. The Shadow of Thrawn, Jedi Mike says that you had that you had to tell me. Yeah, so you didn't know? Jedi Mike, just looking at it, you had to be told. I had to be told too. I looked at it and I was like, I didn't understand what it was at first. I was like, whatever, man, I'll figure it out later. But
it doesn't pass the squint test, folks.
No, it does not pass the squint test, also known as the beer goggle test. And then there was this other joking. There was this other thing here from Bespin Bulletin. We didn't cover this yesterday, did we? Did we cover the Mando not filming thing? I can't remember. I did Santa show, and then now everything's a blur.
You do like 8 hours of shows before you come on the show. So first you do 2 hours of Santa, and then like 6 hours of Fortnite with Bespin, and your guys are pretty much.
And then I'm like, I'm just like, what's going on?
Yeah. And then you go, I don't know if I can make the show, Rob. Show's gonna be on maybe in a day. 15 minutes later, I'm doing the show now. Like all right.
Let's do it.
Right.
No one can stop me. Yeah. Well, no,
I stop him now.
No, I know. I did Santa show this morning, and then we went like way longer than I expected. But the kids are on summer now, and then the kids are like, "Dude, what are we doing, man? I'm bored." And I was like, "Well, they needed some supplies for their summer stuff and their projects that they have coming up." So I was like, "We'll go get that stuff." And I was like, I don't know if we could do it, but I got back and I was like, you know what, Rob, let's do it. The Mandalorian season 4 reportedly to begin filming in November of 2023 by Bespin Bulletin. And then right here, it's got this old ass picture of Mando when he had this old armor on. Remember that shit? It's not forever. So, hello there. Today, the latest issue of Production Weekly has been released and has set the Star Wars fandom abuzz, as the publication is reporting that the 4th season of The Mandalorian is gearing up to begin filming this November. This news follows reports from Deadline, which revealed that the Mando 4 was looking to suffer a delay from its planned late September filming start date to an unspecified time due to the ongoing Writers Guild of America strike, which currently does not have an end in sight. In addition, the WGA strike, the Directors Guild of America and Screen Actors Guild are also possibly ramping up for a strike of their own in the coming weeks, months, which could delay The Mandalorian, along with many other film and television projects, significantly further. Before we continue with the Mandalorian news, I'd like to share with you that you can become a Patreon supporter of Bespin, or Making Star Wars, or how about both, or a channel member here, or you could give them a coffee. It was first reported by Making Star Wars in March, that's me, that The Mandalorian Season 4 was aiming to begin filming at the start of October, and shortly after, the creator of the series, Jon Favreau, confirmed that he had already written the 4th season of the hit Disney Plus series. That early pre-production had begun, with MSW reporting that the scripts were likely written and finalized ahead of the WGA strike. If filming were to start on The Mandalorian Season 4 whilst the WGA strike was ongoing, Favreau, who is the showrunner of the series, in addition to being a writer, would find himself in murky waters, despite the scripts being complete. Favreau would not be allowed to cut for time, complete minor dialogue or narration changes, and would not be allowed to make technical or stage direction changes in his role as producer and showrunner of the series, as he's part of the WGA, as is his producing and writing partner, Dave Filoni. Recently, Andor season 2 writer and showrunner Tony Gilroy ceased his showrunning duties on the critically acclaimed series after coming under fire from fellow Writers Guild of America members who accused the writer-producer of scabbing after it was reported that Gilroy would continue Gilroy Kent, his production duties on the series. Fuck off, I'm not writing. I know a scab. The completion of the series 2 scripts. Yeah. Following up on Production Weekly report, I reached out to 2 separate sources to ask for an update on planned filming for The Mandalorian Season 4 or to see if they could confirm the November rumors. One source simply dismissed the claim, and the other stressed to me that everything is on hold and likely would be until an agreement is made between the WGA and the studios, emphasizing to me that there's no planned timetable and reminding me of the possibility of a WGA strike. And for the record, he's being, he's just covering his ass. The DGA strike is happening. It's inevitable. It's going to fucking happen. It's not even really a question. He's just covering his ass, like I said, as he should, but he really doesn't even need to. It's happening. They put out the declaration already. Nothing's going to change. I hope I'm wrong. I'd love to be wrong on that, but I don't think I am. I'm not here to say who you should believe. I'm simply just sharing with you what I've been told, and at least for now, fans of The Mandalorian should not be getting their hopes up in regard to production picking up anytime soon. Hopefully it's sooner rather than later, but before that, and most importantly, hopefully the writers got what they wholeheartedly deserve. And then does he want to kill him? I think he wants
Santa just jump in and finish that article for him. Like,
I think so. Oh no!
Libel.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, great. They're making Mando 4.
They're making Mando 4. It's happening.
Man, I can't wait. Oh, that Pelimoto episode. That's what I'm in it for at this point.
Hey, I like Pelimoto. I like Pelimoto.
That's why I subscribe to Disney Plus.
No, I don't. I'm not a subscriber. They can't call me a shill.
I'm a shill.
I on
every service.
Yeah, I unsubscribed to them, and I was just like, what? You guys just put 4 Indiana Jones movies that I already own digitally, that you just sold to me digitally like a few months ago in 4K? No, fuck you there. And then you guys are going to put the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, but those were filmed in 16 millimeter, so they're standard definition for life unless they do some kind of AI work on them. But they didn't do that. So I got the VHS. I got the DVDs on those. So fuck you there. And then so I'm just unsubscribed until Ahsoka comes out.
We watched the Electric Mayhem show.
Okay.
And it's got some good Muppet stuff, but the humans, Jason, it's the humans. They're You ever see a Hallmark movie, Jason?
Yeah.
I haven't, but I imagine this is where they get them. This
Yeah.
is not. They're not good. And I remember, we got through it, and again, there's some really good Muppet stuff, but the humans are fucking atrocious. And so there was that Muppet reboot series back in 2014, 2015 that everyone on Twitter fucking railed against, right? They hated it. The Muppets are mean. That show's fucking great. I put it right on because it's on Disney Plus. Put it right for my. You want to watch this? Boom. She was like, "This is amazing. Like it's great.
Right.
It's super. It's just as funny today as it was.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't understand. I don't understand. So they got me with the Muppets and the Visions season 2, which I just got through. The Gold Rock, the CGI one that looks.
Oh God,
like
you're taking so long. I don't even remember the series anymore.
Right. I take a while, man. I like to sit through them. I watch them a couple times, and I go,
okay.
This one I only watched once. It's the one that's like in Star Wars India, which I thought was cool, but I don't care for the CGI animation. It's along the line. It looks just like the Clone Wars stuff to me. I don't really care for it.
I wish the Clone Wars looked like that. It looks better.
It looks worse. Clone Wars looks worse.
Probably.
Jesus.
Well, some of the early stuff does. I don't know. Season 7 of the Clone Wars it's maybe debatable, but Yeah. So, anyways, when this came out yesterday, I think it was yesterday. My timeline's messed up now, my brain. But I was like text him like, like this is no way this is fucking real. The way this is accurate. And then I reached out to a couple of sources about a couple of things. Some of the things that you guys in the chat have been asking. On Monday, I'll have a
When's
little.
Rob leaving?
No, on Monday I'll have a little something for you guys. I think. Pretty sure on Monday.
Kathleen Kennedy's getting fired?
No, it's not like that.
Spoiled us again, Jason.
Yeah, no, but I was just like, yeah, there's just like no way. So I had sent out like, and then like I hadn't heard from Bespin yet, so I had touched base with sources, and then they hadn't got back to me. Then they did, and I was just like, well, at that point I'd already made up my mind that had been a bad idea. So I just asked about like what was going on, and like not a whole lot of nothing basically is what's going on. But I got more hits on the Boba Fett thing. So I think Boba Fett is in for Mando 4, and I don't think there's another show. And nobody knows what some of the other code names that have been floating around are specifically, like Ghost Track. But I think it's just a placeholder for something that was going to happen and didn't happen, but that they just keep around. And when something else does happen, it'll likely just take that name. So in my opinion, this article or this piece is just it's just wishful thinking. It's just moving the original start date back by 2 months based off of the fact that we're already facing a 2-month delay. And then, like I said on Santa's show today, I'm of the opinion that if the strike ends, we probably won't see production start until January. If the strike ended today, if everything was just magically resolved, I still think things get pushed until like the first of the year, most likely. Potentially.
Yeah, I think fans vastly underestimate scheduling and the complexities of scheduling alone. Not just for actors, but for crew, for supplies, for availability, for transportation, all sorts of things.
Yeah.
When everything gets a grand reset, it just complicates life that much more.
Yeah, it does. And yeah, so like I said, I'm not holding my breath on that stuff, and I'm pretty sure the strike has no right now no clear light at the end of the tunnel. So
right.
if I were you guys, I would expect there not to be a Star Wars movie in 2025, and I would expect there to not be a series after the 4 shows that we have coming that are in production in various stages right now. Those ones are the ones I just go like, yeah, it's that's what we have, and then hopefully they're able to play catch up and it's not bad. But let's be real, they're gonna have to play catch up at one point, and then that's when you're gonna get a show that you want or that you're excited for, and it's going to look like Kenobi. We're gonna go right back to that really fast turnaround post-COVID kind of production. Almost certainly, I would say. You know what I mean, though? I don't see how they don't do it.
They shouldn't, though. They should just bite the bullet and be like, there's no shows for 2 years.
That's not what bad management for them, though.
Yeah, but bad shows, look, bad lower quality products stacked on top of one another drives down consumer demand after a certain point. Like
without a crisis, on from their side of things, you're completely correct.
Look at Marvel doing all those. Look at Marvel trying to do all those movies on the volume to get them done during the COVID thing quicker, or the visual effects crunch. I believe it has very little to do with COVID. It has more to do with visual effects crunch.
But you know what? If they had a show coming next month, I wouldn't have unsubscribed. But there's no show coming.
They do. This show
not for me. They don't have a show for me. As a consumer,
what's for you?
Star Wars is for me.
You know what they're going to probably get you on next year? X-Men 97 animated series.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I'll watch that definitely. But my point is, you can't go 2 years without a Star Wars show on Disney Plus, because then you're missing out on a couple $100 in Jason bucks and people like me.
Yeah, well, shitty Star Wars is not.
Well, Kenobi doesn't teach them. Kenobi
People are
yeah,
gonna hate me again, Jason.
but
Everyone
no,
loved me after the Jack Black Lizzo episode, and now they're gonna hate me.
I know I like Kenobi
Oh,
because I can see it. I can see like what it I can see it for what it is, not go, oh, that visual didn't land, therefore I dislike this. I'm not that big of a snob about some of this stuff. I do think it could have been a hell of a lot better with visuals or practical locations instead. And like there's a lot of visual places where it drops the ball is where I think is the common consensus. And but I don't see how I don't see what choice they have. Just don't right now as we go on. The deeper that we get into this, and I think that they end up like this right now is essentially COVID. You can't really make any shows. You can't really. I mean, they're at least during COVID though they could write, but they can't even write right now. So that's even like, you know what I mean? Like before they could get shit going and like start like getting things kind of like, how can we do certain shit? They can't even do that right now. So if this goes on for a year, I do think they end up right in that same kind of scenario, and they have to have content that hits those certain IP checkboxes if they want to retain some subscribers. The animated stuff isn't going to do it. Doesn't really.
can they do
doesn't bring
1
it.
hour specials? They won't do a 90-minute because that falls into movie territory. But what
Yeah.
about like the Marvel? Because that Werewolf by Night I really enjoyed.
Yeah,
I really like it.
yeah.
And so what if they did Star Wars like 1 hour specials? They weren't committing to like 8 episode or 6 episode long seasons, and then drag that out.
I'm under the impression that Star Wars is so fucking expensive that to do something like that becomes
Right. May as well.
well, I mean, it becomes so expensive that it's like we might as well do a film or or the series. So that's why they haven't wanted to like step into that kind of like realm. But on the other hand, one thing I've always wondered is like, you guys already have the location, you already have the space that's already being like paid for, whether you're like using it or not. So it's like to some extent that budget is sort of abstract. Like if you're filming it in El Segundo, it's like it's not like they're like, oh, we only charge you on the days you filmed on the lot. No, they rent that for like 5 years. Like they got it. Like, and I know there's like operating costs and stuff like that. What I'm saying is, I think it might actually be a little bit cheaper for them in certain ways on that front. But I do like the Bespin Bulletin idea, and that's just breaking the seasons up. Doing like Andor's 12 episodes, put out the first 6, then do the second 6. Now, Andor is a show that wouldn't be harmed by this for this kind of stuff, but might be a production like kind of slowdown or whatever. But point being is that I would truly rather there be shorter seasons of quality content, but more of it than get like the 8 to 12 thing all at once or in a short time. You know what I mean? Like if Mandalorian was released in chunks of 6. I would be
what I would do?
Serialized
right now?
storytelling like that.
What I would do, who isn't under any of these rules for the strike? If I was a shrewd
Jedi Mike
tiger, right? No,
Jedi
the
Mike.
video game people. Video game people aren't under any of these. So what I would do is get those video game folks from Jedi Survivor and take all them assets and make an animated Survivor series.
Yeah.
With that, you know what I'm saying? Like, get everything set up, and all you got to do really is the mocap. And you can have non-actors do temp cap,
But if you
lock everything in,
would, in your opinion, would most of them do it, or would because they would be the writers of that?
People, yeah,
because they would be banned for life from ever doing anything.
Video game people are never.
But is that? I mean, is it though? Like, is it one of those things where when you end up doing that at that level, are you kind of hoping that maybe you're going to get to do film, or that you're going to want to move into film, or do you think that that's not the way it is? I don't know.
Very few ever do. It's not even. It's not the same thing.
Okay.
But look, Matt. Look, I'm not saying get around the rules. I'm just trying to find a way to produce something quality. You know what I mean? And the one thing I know, like, the storytelling on them Survivor games is pretty dope, dude. Even I don't really like the actor. He's not my cup of tea. He's a good actor. He's just not my cup of tea.
Who?
Who?
Jedi Survivor guy?
The Cal Kestis guy. That guy.
Yeah, he grew on me a lot more in the The second game. Second game, I like them a lot more.
I hear you. Look, man. I'm not an
Yeah.
Ashton Kutcher guy either. So you know what I mean. Like it's like some people they like who they and some people just don't. So whatever. But I respect that. Like they don't. That stuff's they could do something with all them assets, but they should be doing that anyway, regardless, as far as I'm concerned. But
yeah. So Seth says just saw that apparently we're getting some footage from the Ahsoka Empire. Who said it? Because I've had like 4 DMs today. People assuming that we're going to get a trailer because of that article, and I'm a little bit like, I hope so. That would be cool. And I think they're going to be changing how they do things. So what happened in the past doesn't necessarily apply to where we're at now and where we're going in the future. You can't go, well, Kenobi did this, therefore, because that they have had too many things where that model didn't work. So I hear the model's changing a bit. But if we do use the old model, if the show comes out at the end of August, I don't see why we'd get it in June. Why we would get footage in June? It doesn't necessarily make sense.
Comic-Con, maybe. But then again,
unless
that doesn't really make sense with Lucasfilm. So
no, Lucas. Oh, I don't know if anything's changed, but in the past, I think Marvel and Star Wars both said fuck Comic-Con and moved away from it. Like, I don't think Star Wars ever really got a lot out of doing Comic-Con. So I kind of don't blame them on that front. I don't know about the Marvel thing, and because it seems like more of the wheelhouse, but. Because like with Star Wars, like, when they had the Force Awakens, it was like, oh my God, and then it was just like buried 2 minutes later by the avalanche of all of the other stuff. So
that was so good, Jason. You cut out when you said, oh my God, and it got stuck in that face.
Oh, I saw you as being, see, I see you as cutting out. I don't know what's going on, but
one of us. Which one of us cut out? Was it me or
Jason? Who cut out? Who cut the cheese? Him or me?
Who cut the Velveeta?
But so anyways, Seth says it was one of the non-official Star Wars accounts posting something they heard, so it's probably fake. I put it in Santa's Discord. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I hope it's true though, I mean, that'd be good. That'd be good, but just fan mathing it off the top of my head, I don't think it computes. But who knows?
Everything's fucked. That's how this works. The studios could have just paid over $400 million and been done with it, but here we are.
Yeah.
You get to go back to what it was like to be a fan of this shit in the '80s when you were getting nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, I Ghostbusters and Batman, nothing. Like Back to the Future. Sorry,
I get aliens. People like whenever I say anything critical, like I'm a positive Star Wars Twitter account or whatever, and like they'll like post like, oh, I was, they were being the person I'm talking about specifically was being not mean or anything. So, but they were like, I was a fan in the '80s when just like nothing came out, and I'm like, I didn't say anything, but I'm like. Yeah, but in the '80s, we were waiting for fucking George Lucas. We're not in that place. George was one man who with ultimate supreme power, and we don't have that issue now. So that's what makes it annoying because we can have it all the time now.
I agree. Fans don't know what it was like, man. They don't know. They don't know what it was like when. Even after Batman Returns, you didn't know if you were ever going to get another. Even Batman, you don't know if you're getting another Batman movie.
Yeah.
And then fucking Dick Tracy shows up, and you're like, no one wants this. What are we doing, Dick Tracy? Phantom shows up. You don't want. You don't care.
Remember Madonna was in it? She was singing a song.
Fucking the Shadow shows up, and I remember all that stuff. But at the end of the day, it's just, you're like, come on.
As it true says, Survivor's writers have basically only wrote for Far Cry 6, Borderlands 3, Total War Warhammer. Didn't even need Star Wars writers this time, like Fallen Order. Yeah,
there's genre-based writers, right? These are genre-based writers, like
I think the first game felt more like a film, but the second game I thought was a much better game. and much better. And the story was more fun in the game. I think the second game is superior, like overall. I'm pretty happy with it. But yeah, but that's not. I mean that's an idea. Good work, Rob. Working for the devil. Aria says since we know they can't do trailers properly, I hope something changed in that department because Ahsoka needs a wow moment in it. Yeah, I know what you mean. I didn't. The trailers were like, oh my god, it's an Inquisitor, right? But that's not what normal people are doing. That's us doing. That's weird, dog. But that's not what people like, your Uncle Larry watching it. He doesn't know what that is and why he care or whatever. And so those moments, and that's the whole problem with the whole Ahsoka thing in general, is it's like they don't understand how inside baseball they actually are on it. They think it's more. They think that it like because the stuff is, I think it sells all right, but it's because those fans are rabid. And like, I don't know. I don't want to overspeak because I don't have like all of that data and stuff. But
it's
when
like
you get
the
down
people
to
that
it,
think if Zack Snyder made another Superman movie, it'd do $1 billion. I keep hearing this, and they keep making less money every time you make something.
yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
mm-hmm.
it doesn't work. Like, you can keep wanting it and say you love it, man. That's how I feel about Speed Racer, but they ain't gonna do it. It's not gonna happen. They don't need Emil Hirsch. They could cut him out, put anyone else in that role. It wouldn't matter.
And the posted in the near future, just to correct myself. Well, the series comes out in the near future, so yeah, you know what I mean. It's I meant to be a little bit more specific than that, but because like in the coming week, that'd be something to hang your hat on. But I don't not blaming you for telling us, Seth. I appreciate it because it's good to know that that's out there. Fanboy tears are delicious. I don't know. They taste like Taco Bell. Dell says, could have it now and all the time if things didn't happen all the time. Yeah. Remember the Dick Tracy figures sucked that were like all like smashed down? Super strange toy line.
Horrible, dude.
Super strange.
They look like when you see those like generic He-Man figures or something.
Yeah. But they were like even more
like,
cartoony. They were really weird.
The only thing cool about the Dick Tracy movie, yeah, Madonna was hot, blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
the only thing cool about the Dick Tracy movie was the fact that you got away with saying "dick" around your parents. Like they couldn't knock you for that one.
Yeah.
And believe me, the movie lets you know it every 3 fucking seconds because they go, "Oh, dick, hey, dick," because you didn't get that fucking joke the first 100 fucking times.
100 times, yeah.
It doesn't hold a candle to Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It's just. It's a strong art direction, but it's a shit movie, Like I've tried with that.
Yeah, no, it's like Roger Rabbit and Batman were like A tier, and then like Rocketeer was B, and then Dick Tracy was C.
Turtles 1 was A tier.
Yeah, Turtles feels like a different thing though than like
it isn't
those,
though, but it's Turtles 1. Yeah, but Dick Tracy, man, it was like. Batman was successful, and what they took away from that was we need 1930s pulp serial strips. Like that's not the fucking lesson here, folks.
Yeah.
Well, like nothing 1930s pulp about Batman 1989. Like you're taking the wrong fuck. It was more aliens than fucking anything else. Like they even shot in the same locations as aliens. Like it's crazy.
Well, like remember when they put out the Phantom? Like that felt like it was coming out 15 years later. I don't know what year it came out, probably like 96 or something. But you're like, why are you making this now?
That movie came out after The Shadow. Should have been scrapped after The Shadow. Like
The
Shadow again. I saw that in the theater. I was like, hey, this is a nifty art direction, and Alec Baldwin would make a great Bruce Wayne. This is a shit movie. So
Suck says those in the Super Mario movie toys were the same. Oh man, the Super Mario see like the Super Mario movie toys, that's after I was too old for that like stuff, so I never saw that stuff.
You still going into KB's when you go to the mall? Didn't you still go into the toy store? You still go into the toy store.
It's like I was like all about records and music at that point. So I didn't see the Mario movie. I was like, that's not Mario. Fuck that shit. I'm not even going to see it. So I didn't see it. then Power of the Force 95 is what brought me back to the toys. That's what brought me back.
Yeah, man, I really disappointed my father in never being done with toys. Like, I remember he gave me this speech like in the 5th grade. This is for kids. This is for kids. And I'm like, then why are people getting? And I pointed to the screen. There was like a mansion with Tim Burton, you know. And I'm like, then why are they? Why do the people making it have mansions, Dad? Oh well, like yeah. Shut up, you know. Play on my toys. Play on my toys.
Yeah.
You know. But no, I didn't want the Mario Brothers toys. That movie was dog shit. But you would see them at the KB. That's where you get all those like bins of like failed figures, you know? Like,
Oh
couldn't
yeah.
get anywhere else. It was like, yeah.
As the truth says, a Battlefront 2 gameplay clip tweet got more likes yesterday than any Star Wars tweet since Kenobi hated and announced. I'm feeling extremely salty today. Weird. Definitely interesting though. Especially, it's like the Star Wars fandom is just so weird. Like, remember, like Battlefront 2 was like the pariah. How dare they? I'm clutching my pearls about it. And then like now here we are, with just a little time for the littlest bit of nostalgia to have brewed. And now it's like everybody's like golf clapping it. I like Battlefront 2, don't get me wrong, but it's weird.
I couldn't begin to tell you what EA's thinking about that. I mean, my intuition tells me that instead of making $10 million, they want to make $100 million.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I would say, yeah, but abandoning your game like that, do you know why Smash Brothers does so well when they do a new one? Because they support the previous one with tons of shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's like if you just made that 10 million and made a little bit, but you built the fans up, they will fucking spend $300 on the super collector edition when you make the next big one.
Yeah, the person who made that call, and the person that said like PUBG is the future for the Star Wars games, those are the people that you should never fucking listen to again. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They probably just went to a prestigious college and fucking got fucking the gig because of who they were born as. Fuck them. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know Star Wars. They don't know their ass from their elbow, and just fucking throw them out. You know,
Max Landis.
Yeah. There's a lot of them. But then, hey, you know what? For every you get a Max Landis, but then sometimes you get a Jason Reitman. Just gonna say, Jason Reitman's not so bad. You know.
There's no Ivan Reitman, but then I think Jason Reitman's better on set because I heard Ivan Reitman was a fucking asshole.
Yeah,
I think you had to be an asshole though to work with Bill Murray. I'm just letting you know, like,
yeah.
You know.
I mean,
unless you're Bill Ramis and you don't have to be an asshole. He apparently wasn't.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, like at the end of Reitman's life, like they were saying he was like a perv and stuff, and there was all this shit going around like with him. So it's like, yeah, who knows?
Who knows?
But I mean, you know, there was I'm not justifying that. But there was like a different like kind of way you were supposed to be. Like James, was it James Cameron? You told me he was like thought he had to be like a strong man and had to be like all fucking nuts like for a time, and then like changed his way.
He would yell and curse. That's what he would do.
Yeah, he thought that's what leadership was.
Let me give you an example. It's great, James Cameron, right? True story. On The Abyss, they worked underwater for that movie, right? Like 70% of the film, it's all shot underwater, real underwater. I mean, it's a big tank, but it's underwater. But they originally wanted to go out in the ocean. That wasn't working.
Yeah.
So they had a communications thing in these helmets, right? These water helmets that they're on. Everyone could hear Jim, but no one could talk to Jim. So he would just tell you over here, you over, like, you know, like that. People have long joked that must have been the ideal situation for James Cameron at that time. He really learned his lesson after Titanic, and I think all those scientific voyages, right, where you cannot be that way when lives are at stake, real lives are at stake.
Yeah.
That's not how it's not going to work out on the water. It's not going to work underwaters. I mean, none of that happens. Tempers flaring. I think all of that shit, plus having kids, I think the combination of those two things chilled them the fuck out, you know?
Yeah.
But I do defend a little bit in that, man, if you're 30 years old, I mean, when you're on a set and you come from Roger Corman, I mean, you know how hard it is to get in the military, we have this thing where you get like chores you got to do. They call it extra duty, right? There's always something. And they'll be, oh, you go get a crew of guys, and you never pick your friends because they won't do work. You ever try to get your buddies to like help you move? You know, it's hard to get
Mhm.
everyone unless it's their job. They're not gonna fucking do it. And on a film set, like he just got real used to barking the fuck out of orders, you know, just to get shit done. But always in the service of the getting done, not in the service
Yeah.
of look at me, I'm a fucking, you know, I'm a director. Like that's
Well,
I feel like
that's
that was
it's
the
wrong,
contextual
but
difference. It's
I
wrong, but there's a
I get it.
contextual difference.
No, I mean I've been in studio situations where we're paying like $600 and we have like 2 hours. And like I need you just to fucking do exactly what I just told you to
Right.
do. I don't we practice for this. Fucking do the fucking thing. And I'll show you. Okay, now do it. And then eventually just like fuck you, I'm doing it myself, you know, or whatever. Like those are the worst. But I could definitely understand it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
look, when I mean, Alien. I mean, could you imagine being 30 years old and you got a $14 million budget and
Yeah.
all this?
I'm just
fucking
freaking out
shit
over
on your head?
$600. If I was a director, I'd be like, get the fuck out. Yeah, yeah. But also too, when you get the results, the fucking Shining. I'm just gonna say, Shelley Duvall's
He
fucking
learned
nuts
a lot
now.
of the
But
wrong.
no,
He
I'm
was
kidding.
rewarded with the wrong. You know, he learned the wrong lessons, but
Yeah.
you know, he wasn't putting signs like whites only on the fucking bathroom.
Right.
To be honest, it wasn't
Fucking
like that, you know?
yeah. No. He was just like Shelley Duvall could have just quit. As the truth says, Battlefront had a battle royale mode as Fortnite was taking off. Problem is, people wanted Clone Wars, so the devs had to ditch it. Might not have been good, but might have brought in more players like Clone Wars. Yeah, I mean, they should have definitely put the battle royale mode in. But there is no doubt that that was a bad call at that moment in time. And had they done it and just made it Clone Wars fucking themed, it probably would have, in a really better way, it would have been good. But yeah, Battlefront will always just be a sore, sad thing, you know. But maybe one of these days they'll make a Battlefront and all of the lessons will be learned. You know, that's kind of the hope, I guess, is that they kind of put it all together and figure it out and do it right one day. But doesn't seem likely at this point. I don't think. But yeah, so like the video games though, it's a good thing that we have a lot of games in production though. To go back to what you were saying, because that's probably going to be what sort of saves us here. You know what I mean? In terms of like being able to experience something fun with Star Wars, if the strike goes on forever, there's always a chance. The one thing that I'm hoping, but I don't think it's going to happen. But the thing that I'm hoping is that the studios do start to see, oh wow, we're not making Batman, Superman, Darth Vader, and Beetlejuice and blah, blah, you know what I mean? And it keeps on there. It's like, is this fucking worth it? It's not worth it to us. Cause I mean, like that's the hope, but I don't know, because I don't know if the people that really are getting to make the calls, experience reality the same way as the rest of us, you know? Like that thing we were talking about yesterday where they were like, hey, the writers were like, don't give them a fucking bonus. Vote no against their bonus, because if they just paid us what they should pay us, they're the ones who are holding everything up. So, you know, it's the best point I've seen them make on the public stage. You know what I mean? Like in terms of the politics of it, the personal and public politics of it. So makes sense to me that they keep pushing that, because why would they ever, like, why would you give Bob Iger, like we were saying yesterday, a bonus when he fucking is responsible for a strike? Why would you give Zaslav a fucking bonus when he's responsible for the fucking strike? Like, no, they don't deserve a fucking thing, like at all. In fact,
they get a bonus for averting the strike.
For averting a strike and producing the content and having profits.
Right.
But I mean, in my opinion, it should probably be illegal to get a bonus on a year when your company didn't make a profit.
Hey man, I'm not with you.
You know what I mean? Like, because otherwise you're just pilfering off the backs of your workers when you get down to it. But what is this? Royal Fina says that phone call had to be wild. George, that means a lot coming from you. We really tried to honor the legacy. The Borg bullet scene really captured what I was imagining in my head back in '77. Yeah. I actually think the Borg Gullet thing actually is something that George would probably appreciate, though.
It's
Like
totally Jabba.
it's so like
Even the
eccentric
even
though.
even the grills like in this prison cells are Jabba's palace style grill plating. It's a
Oh,
Jabba's
the
palace.
designs, yeah,
Yeah. The productions, it's all a Jabba's palace type thing.
yeah,
Like that's way more Jabba than the fucking shit we got in Boba Fett. You know, with the
yes,
actual Jabba's palace,
yeah.
clean ass, empty
With
fucking.
without any furniture in it, for the most part.
Right.
As it true
Just
says,
a couple CGI robots and a rabbit.
as it true says, I'll come in next week. I need to vent frustrations. Also, Ubisoft showed some black and gold fabric, and a lot think it's a Star Wars open world reveal in 2 weeks. Ooh, I hope so. Yeah, dude, you're always welcome, dude. Whenever you want to come on, man, just tell me and I'll send you the old invite.
I like when he gets
But
riled up.
yeah,
You know,
when we get Azatru mad, it's
it's my
real.
favorite. It's my favorite. I just like it's like you and I. We're like Beard and Coach, right? And he's like the young Nate who comes in, and then we get him all mad and angry. Right?
Yeah.
Send him back off into the wilds. Like,
did you see Spider-Verse?
I did.
Did you like it?
I did. Visually stunning. And I would say people have compared this to Empire Strikes Back, but I contend this to me, I feel the first Spider-Verse film was like Back to the Future, and this is how I imagined a Back to the Future too, in terms of its scope and
I was saying it's
multiples.
Empire Strikes Back and Back to the Future Part 2 had a baby.
Sure.
Because it has a lot of the it has a lot of the good elements of both of those things, which to me it's like the ultimate compliment I could give a film. I would say I don't think there's a nicer thing I could personally say about a movie than that, except for maybe if it had some like Indiana Jones qualities and Bix, but it's pretty fucking good. And Bix, but yeah, I mean, I was it was weird. Like, I get bored during good movies sometimes. Sometimes I'm just like, I wish I could pause this and just go do something else for a little while. Like, that's just how I am.
ADD.
I don't know. I don't think so, but I don't
just sit there and enjoy it.
Well, point being is I did. I just sat there and I enjoyed the whole movie. It was so good that I wasn't like, oh, there wasn't anything else I wish I was doing at the time during the whole thing. And I would say like it is a little bit long, but like it always where it was long, where I was like, there's a little too much here. I'm like, oh, it looks beautiful, or the point is beautiful, or it's so I'm like, yeah, it's worth it. You know what I mean? Though I'm like, yeah, it is long, but was it worth it? And I say, yeah.
I do think there's a world where you probably could take with whatever they're doing with the third one and this one and make just one movie this length, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that the length of it is helping you feel that it's less tropish and more like you're there with the characters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like if they did condense whatever they're doing with the third one and this into one, then I think it would play a little bit more by the numbers. You know, it would feel like, oh, that's the beat, and then we do that, and then but this, because it has the time, you're not like anticipating those moments in the way you would say like, you know, Marvel film or maybe to the lesser extent a Star Wars film at this point, you know.
Yeah, and if you want to just like get extreme with the scissors, you could cut out the whole opening with Gwen. You cut out a lot of the excess about the Spider-Man reality, a lot of the time that is spent on the stuff around that, and then you could have the very end of it. You could have moved into the third film. I wouldn't do that. I don't want them to do that. But I mean, but you technically could have made a more concise film if you wanted to do that.
Except for me, visually speaking, Gwen's universe is like my favorite. Like visually, the soft pastel, like all that shit. I'm just sitting there like having an artist overload. Like, you know, I get as close as you can get to the screen, but not the front row, but that one right behind it. So
that was us. That was us yesterday.
Yeah.
We were like in the row with the handicap seats, like in the like at the very front,
That's
but not the very very front. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You know, it kind of something that like I was as I was like really looking at it in this movie yesterday. I was like, you know, I think Spider-Gwen's costume probably is the best female superhero costume I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's a shame the guy who designed it's a dipshit.
No,
So
that's too bad. But he did a good job
yeah,
on that one.
did a good job.
Yeah, but it was really who's the guy who designed it?
I'm not gonna say his name. We could talk about it off air, but go
Okay,
look him up. He's yeah,
okay, but
he's a piece of work.
yeah, but what do you call it? Yeah. So, anyways, I thought that was really good, really strong. Like it was like just like a really really good movie. You know, I mean, like I honestly like right now I'm kind of thinking it's probably going to be the best movie of the summer. And I'm not a huge Spider-Man person. I don't love. I own the Spider-Man movies, but I don't fucking love them. I don't fucking cherish them. You know what I mean? They're not everything to me. Um, and I've seen them all. I had a good time at No Way Home. I went and saw like the extended edition of No Way Home. I didn't see the actual movie. I just saw the extended one in the theater. Didn't get. I caught that one after because of COVID and stuff. I was like, let's do it. And I was like, so I went and saw it on like Cinema Day or whatever. And I really enjoyed it. I had a good time. It was fun, but I don't love it, you know. And then this one though, I was
Yeah,
like, oh, I love this
if I
movie.
had any if I had any gripe, it's pretty minor. It would just be that for me, my favorite part of Spider-Man are the villains, not all the variants. I like a couple variants. I'm a 2099 guy, so I like the Ben Reilly outfit. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the version of him in this movie is totally made up for the movie, but the outfit's fucking dope.
Yeah.
Spider Clan, Legend of the Spider Clan. But the villain, and so there's a whole movie without. I'm assuming the next one will have all the villains, right? Because
Okay. Sure.
I have to assume, because a whole movie with
Yeah.
just Spider-Man's, at some point I'm like, you got the best rogues gallery. I mean, Spider-Man or Batman, it's a toss-up any given day. I say Spider-Man only because his villains can actually fight Spider-Man, and Batman's villains will just get the shit kicked out of them the minute Batman runs into a room, right? So to me,
Yeah.
Spider-Man villains are probably a little bit better because they can actually go toe-to-toe. And a whole fucking world of variants of fucking his villains, like, but that opening fight was sick as shit, dude. I've never seen anything quite like that,
Mm-hmm.
before. So, and you know how I feel, man. A lot of American animation don't get their fights right, but they got it. They got it in this film, and it's just gonna ruin those live action fucking Marvel movies when they don't do anything remotely as interesting. You gotta
This
you gotta step up.
this seemed like they really understand what works in anime, and we're like we're gonna apply it. Like I can't really explain that feeling, but there's a certain feeling that I get when I watch from really good anime when it's working, and I kind of got it from this one.
Yep.
And Peter Parker does
Well,
kind of work with the Shogun kind of format in anime, so I could kind of see
the
how it. Mm-hmm.
the animation, one of the directors was the guy who did a lot of the stuff on Airbender. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the fights and stuff on there, so you can
Okay.
see. You know what I mean? You can see that extrapolated.
Right. Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
And I disagree, man. I love that second movie. I saw that in the
which
theater.
one?
The second Spider-Man Tom Holland film, Far From I can't. No wait, Far From Home. Far From Home. It's the one
Mm-hmm.
where they go on summer vacation. It's the
Yeah.
Spider-Man European vacation one.
Oh,
I
okay.
fucking walked out of that theater, bought a ticket, walked right back in.
Mm-hmm. You like that
That's
much?
how much fun I had. Yeah, I love. They got a whole sequence in 3D. It's fucking sick, dude. They have this whole sequence in Mysterio where you go through the skull, the rotting skull of Tony Stark, and spiders are coming
Oh,
down
yeah, you
out of
told me
it.
about
And
that
I'm like, in
before.
3D, it's fucking hella sick. I'm like, I'm going through Tony Stark's skull. That fucking movie's hard. Fuck. If you don't, I don't know what the hell. Mysterio's perfect costume, like. All
Yeah.
the 3D is excellent, Jason. Excellent. That's
Okay.
why I was so excited about John Watts, on Star Wars. I'm like, the dude knows how to shoot action, Like, I know, like, there's a lot of people that do all that, but he understands also how to retain character during action moments, not just leave it up to second AD to get the shots, Like, the characters are still there.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Gyllenhaal was great for me because he was originally up for the role of Spider-Man in the Maguire movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that was the first movie where they mentioned the multiverse, like you mentioned 616 in the multiverse. And so him sitting there with Peter was like seeing a potential Spider-Man sitting with another Spider-Man, like if you know that. So nah, man. And JB Smooth about witches. It's witches. It's witches. JB Smooth with the witches. I fucking love it, dude. I
Yeah.
don't care. You got no heart, if you don't love that movie. I don't.
Hey, Maria has heart. Come on, she just doesn't think it's that great.
Just pegged to the wall with a stake driven through it, like like.
Yeah, but anyways, I don't have I don't dislike those movies. Like I said, they're just like not my thing specifically. They're not like, oh, I'm just going to put this on and watch it by myself. I saw them with the kids, took the kids to see them. We had a good time, a good like family movie to go see and all that shit. But the Spider-Verse one is because like on the first Spider-Verse film, it was like I got it almost for free through like Voodoo or something. It was like something like buy 2 movies and we'll just give you the shit. I don't remember. It was something weird like that. And I was like, oh, fine. And it was 4K. And I was like, oh shit, a 4K movie. It's kind of hard to get them at that point or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I'll take a free 4K movie. And I did it. And I watched it. I was like, oh wow, this is actually good. But it was like I just didn't pay attention to it. Didn't know anything about it. So when it was good, I was like, it took a little while for it to sit in how good that first one like was. But I still think that this one was vastly superior to it. Like. And not that's not like a knock on the first movie. It's just it did it's like ready to get just run and the movie does because of it. Yeah.
What is good about the first one, like the first Back to the Future, is it's a complete film. This is not a complete. It ends well.
Yeah,
but it's not a complete film.
Yeah, it does the Back to the Future to be continued basically at the end. So, it did. Right. It said to be continued in, and then they gave like the title of it. I don't remember what it was like. It was
Beyond the Spider-Verse.
It was like Spider-Verse 2000. That's what they would have called it.
The pastel it had this like pastel end credits. I thought were really good. Like they did this pastel like effect. I thought was. I just sat there like I'm not leaving. As long as there's animation.
I was curious about the movie because it had like 3 directors, I think, and I'm like, it's like one of the directors just doing that stuff, like the end credits with the pastels and stuff, or is like, you know what I mean? Or did they actually like, you know what I'm saying? Or did they like actually all do the action sequences and stuff? Did you ever hear anything about that?
I've never worked. I mean, the closest I've seen with animation directors is just watching the Sweatbox. Just seeing how like we need multiple people because it's a big job, and I'm like, coordinating hundreds of artists, and it's not like, and nothing is like you can go out and get shots, come back and look at it. Everything has to be made and designed and planned and built. So,
are we rebooting or remaking Back to the Future? You know what's funny, Maria, is like I'm like I really don't give a shit about most anything.
Stage play.
I'm like nothing is sacred or whatever, right? But on Back to the Future, that's the one where I'm just like, don't do it, because the only way to do it would be to set it in 1985 and use music, because like that's the whole problem. And that's the problem that Ghostbusters has today too. Like Ghostbusters comes out, and even when it's good, it's still missing a little something. And what it's missing is the music. It's like music is so different today. You can't just go and make that kind of soundtrack how they like we don't get soundtracks like Ghostbusters 1 and 2 and like even the Batman like Prince is, where's Prince? Oh yeah, he's dead. But we're just not getting those fucking like we don't get that kind of thing. Like Top Gun 2, fucking great movie for what it is. But that soundtrack is dog shit. It's like for some reason we don't have that. I think maybe it was because of MTV and music videos and like sort of like the cross-pollination of the time allowed for an elevation of song choices in films that we don't get today, maybe is kind of my theory about it. But like, but anyways, Back to the Future today without rock and roll
primarily music. Sucks. Pop culture music is made for club dancing, and 80s stuff was like, they were like little mini movies. They were cinematic, like little mini movies. Even a record was deemed like, it was like a theatrical event almost, with pictures and all these lyrics and things hidden on there, blah, 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 blah. People would go to Tower Records and line up. Now people line up at the concerts and they want to dance. So everything's club and dance. And so it's like if disco never ended and just kept getting worse and worse and worse. That's what we're in now.
Right. Yeah. But it's like, that's why I'm like, point being, so in order to like do that and to make it fun, and then make it have the same like kind of like feelings, you have to set it during the 80s. But if you go and you do that, why fucking bother? You know what I mean? And the Royal says the Cobra Kai guys wanted to explore Back to the Future soft reboot, but they didn't have an idea yet, and probably won't.
No, they
do
should
it if
work
they
on
don't.
Power
Yeah.
Rangers and stay away from Back to the Future.
Yeah, I'm just like, I like the fact that Back to the Future is the only thing that was like, that was good enough. Goodbye.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine. But at the same time, just to play devil's advocate here, I couldn't really get the kids into Back to the Future at first. And then Back to the Future, the game, I own the original one for Xbox. They did a remaster in 4K. And so I got that like for free. It was just like, if you just logged into the game, they'll upgrade you for free. So I did. And then I got it in the 4K version. Then they played that. And then that's what got them into it. And now
Back to the Future, Jason, was subversive in that when you watch it, if you didn't know anything about it, which I didn't when I watched it, is you think you're getting like an 80s teen movie at first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, oh, you'll play the band, and you know what I mean? It'll be something with music, and he's got a skateboard, or and then there's this time, it comes out of nowhere, the time travel thing. You're like, what? So like, you don't, and then when you get to the time travel thing, you don't expect for him to have to meet up with his crazy dad. You know, like, and all of that stuff. So like it builds off that. I don't know if you're a kid now.
I don't know if Rob locked up or if I locked up. Did you lock up, Rob, or did I? Nobody tells us. But Burn Sauce wrote The Rock as Doc. Oh man, Back to the Furious. How about that? Back to the Furious. The cars go so fast in the next Fast and the Furious, they go back in time. And then The Rock.
The only way to do it, and still have fun. You could do it serious, like a black individual ending up in the 50s would not be. If Marty was black, it would not have gone well for Marty, right? It would have been much more difficult. You don't want a serious Back to the Future film. So if you're gonna do fun, it only works with Muppets. Like if Muppets to the Future or Back to the Muppets or some shit like that. Where you go back to 70s and there's Jim Henson. You gotta help Jim Henson get the Muppet movie made or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of like the way I would do it. If they were forcing me to do it, Jason, at gunpoint, like you gotta, okay, we're going to do Back to the Muppets. It's about getting Jim Henson to make helping him make the Muppet movie with the Muppets.
Yeah. If they ever do anything in the Back to the Future thing, I hated when they, like, I didn't hate the Lady Ghostbusters because it was Lady Ghostbusters. I hated the idea that they were rebooting Ghostbusters and not just doing a film in the universe.
Right.
That's kind of like where I fall on it.
Overall, that's when you're speaking to sane individuals, that's the real issue at hand, and then the humor is not my humor. I don't.
No, it's ultimately not a good movie. Didn't get a fair shake from the very start for a lot of different reasons, and some of them were because of the crazies. But
and whoever designed their costumes and car need to be taken to task too. They got the worst fucking car you could ever imagine.
Oh yeah,
that was a dumb looking car when the first Ghostbusters came out. It would not. It's like all the fucking cars in the world. You pick that in the dumbest suits I can imagine. They should have just been wearing the colored outfits, the pastel outfits from the cartoon. That would have played better. Like
I mean. Yeah, we could probably spend 90 days talking about what all of the wrong calls that were made on that
Paul
film.
Feig. Paul Feig was that was the major move. He's a shit director. Sorry, man. I don't like his work.
Yeah. No, it's not the same. It's not the same alchemy that brought the original film to be what it is. It was getting good comedians. And then like a good sci-fi premise, and then letting them run wild in that landscape. Not.
I will say something that'll annoy the shit out of you though.
It's fine.
After Spider-Verse, they never should have fired Lord Miller.
Yes, I walked out of the theater, and I told my kids, I was like, guys, they fired those guys from Star Wars. Can you believe that shit? That's what. Didn't I say that to you, Penny? I said. Like, yeah. No, I mean, those
two should be running creative at Lucasfilm, as far as I'm concerned. But whatever.
Yeah. It's too bad. It's definitely too bad because it's the thing about it is like, were they trying some jokes that probably didn't work, or that nobody would have liked? Yeah, probably did. But at the same time, when you look at the calls that they're making in their films, they're always making the right calls in their films. So I think they should have had more faith. And we would have had a more inspired Solo movie in the end, probably. I mean, getting Ron Howard to do it was safe and a good idea if you were gonna, go that route. But yeah, it's too bad, and I'm hoping that maybe when the regime changes at Disney and Lucasfilm, maybe they do come back and do something with Star Wars with down the road. But I don't see them doing it under Kathleen Kennedy and Bob Iger. Post Iger and Kennedy, I think maybe there's more of a shot at it, but maybe. But yeah, Jake says they fired them from Star Wars and Across the Spider-Verse got someone to be in the Star Wars in the movie Star Wars Can't. I know, I noticed, I thought of that too. Yeah, I did. That did occur to me.
Wasn't so busy, was he, Jason?
It wasn't too busy for that one, was he? Yeah, true.
Yeah. I wish this is the one time I wish we were all in the same front row, so I could when all this stuff happens, I could just look at you and you would be like,
I know. Yeah, but
And one other thing I'll say before we go is, I do wish, as much as I like that Spider-Man 2 gameplay trailer a lot, I think it's freaking awesome. I just wish they were making a game that looked more like the Spider-Verse movie than the realistic game, I'm
going to be honest.
The last time I bought skins was for Spider-Man. I bought the Spider-Verse skins, so.
Yeah. That I agree, Maria. Iger, Kennedy are the regime. It won't happen. Yeah. I'm saying when Iger and Kennedy are gone, maybe that's when they're like, oh, we can't be mad at an idea. the people we're mad at or that we're disgusted with or we didn't click with are likely gone. So maybe that would open up the, maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, I gotta say, I like Miles Morales better than Peter Parker. I find him to be a more. I would rather be his friend than Peter Parker's friend. Is what I'm trying to say. If I were in high school, like that would be more of my friend.
Peter Parker, the Tom Holland Peter Parker is a pretty good friend.
Mm-hmm.
But the other Peter Parker, he's not. You're good. You're dead. You're dead.
You're dead. You're done.
You're dead. You're a friend. You're dead.
Yeah. But I mean, like, if you watch the first movie, I'd say definitely should, and you liked it. If you just I'm not even saying you loved it.
Advantage. First movie has an advantage because it's also in 3D.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's a 3D conversion that is excellent. I fire that one up a couple times a year.
I don't think I've seen. I would say as a rich visual tapestry, I don't even think Star Wars has anything on that movie.
No.
It was. I don't think I can't think of a movie that was putting more data in every single shot of things to and the only complaint I have actually is when they would do the little written for from the editor Stan Lee text in the corner or whatever you call it.
Shit. But you had to look way over.
I missed some of them. I was like I know what it was saying, but I didn't get to read it.
I have real excellent field of vision, right?
Yeah.
So I do push, when that shit pops up.
Yeah.
It makes it difficult because when one asshole opens their phone up in the theater, no matter how much they try to hide it, I see it.
Yeah, me too. I do see that too. Yeah. Fucking dickheads. All right, guys, we'll see everybody on Monday, right? It's Friday, right?
Yeah. I want to end on this really quick. Before the movie started, there was the trailer for Disney's Wish, and they're trying to do this drawn look. It looks like paint daubs from Photoshop. It doesn't look good. And then you see this movie, you're like, Disney, you gotta stop. Yeah. You need to take a long look in the mirror. You know what I mean? And get with the fucking times, man. This is across Disney films as a whole. Their art direction is fucking atrocious at this point. It's dead in the water. And just look at any one of these fucking posters we get for any series. Andor was probably the best of them, like the poster wise. And I'm not being kind because it's Andor, it just was.
Yeah.
But the Indiana Jones posters and then this visual, it's not good, man. The art direction across the board sucks. But you
Not a
watch this
fan.
film, you're gonna get attention. You're not
I
getting attention with the shit.
I like the indie stuff. I do like I see your point about the little outline thing, sure. But I mean, like, but oh yeah, the one last thing before we go. I put the pictures up on Twitter. My theater, they're going off for indie. So at the end of the day, if indie does fail, they did the fucking
Trolls. I just sit through the Trolls trailer again. I hate it.
Trolls trailer. I haven't even seen it.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
No, but my theater had has a giant, like we're talking like 3-story. I don't know if it's three. Well, probably like a good 20-foot style like Indiana Jones poster on the side of the building. That's like fucking huge. That's like looking at the parking lot. And then when you go inside, there's like a thing that's probably, I don't know, a good like 20 feet long of Indiana Jones with like with the big title Indiana Jones and like a Harrison Ford you could take pictures with. And then on the screen, the big screen, they were playing like the fucking trailer just like on repeat. And then there was the 3 different theatrical posters in the place. So I'm like, from where I'm at, they can't really do anything more. So if nobody wants to see the movie, people just don't want to see the movie,
Out here, just west of the Rockies, no Indiana Jones. No
Indiana Jones, huh? Yeah. Hopefully, maybe closer to the film. Maybe closer to the film.
Maybe.
But and My Spider-Verse was sold out. They fucking sold it out, but it wasn't sold out until the day of the movie. I mean, we're talking like I bought my tickets the day before, and I was like, "Oh shit, it's almost sold out." But the day before that, it was completely like you could get any seat you wanted practically. And
normal people just buy it the day or hours before.
People are so, but yeah. In my experience there for my theater, people were buying their ticket 3 days before, and then on the day of. So it's like, so it's kind of hard to say what the pre-sales are for Flash and Indie at this point.
I don't.
And there was one last thing before we go, because Bespin looked it up for the show, and I forgot to hit it. And it's Indiana Jones. India is tracking between 80 to 120 million opening weekend in the States, with a total domestic forecast of 208 to 322 million. Worldwide forecast is closer to 600 million. So that's what the forecast is, and hopefully that one is like all of the rest of them, where they've been way low. They've been lowballing everything, and everything comes up higher. So
remember when someone came in our chat and laughed at $150 million opening weekend for Avatar? Like, look at all these movies not even getting there. Look at all these movies not even getting there.
It's true. All right. Well, everybody, we'll see everybody on Monday, unless something huge happens. Nothing huge is going to happen because it's a strike. All right. Bye, everybody. Have a good weekend.
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
You know you should go.
Come on, let's go.
It's not about spaceships.